In 1977, when Argentina was so crazy to claim Antarctica as its territory, they came up with a pretty clever plan. They airlifted a pregnant woman who was 7 months pregnant to their Antarctic base. She gave birth there, making her baby the first person ever born in Antarctica with Argentine roots, strategically using the birth of this child on Antarctic soil to reinforce their territorial claim, a dispute that still lingers today. Antarctica, a mysterious continent devoid of any national identity, government, or indigenous tribes, has been subject to territorial claims by nations like France, Norway, Australia, Britain, Chile, Argentina, and New Zealand. In 1959, the Antarctic Treaty was signed, which did not abolish existing territorial claims but temporarily suspended them, fostering scientific collaboration among signatories. But the expiry date of this treaty is around the corner. Well, we'll discuss this treaty at the end of the video. Moving on, September 21st, 2020, Argentina's government released a map illustrating that Argentina's territory has nearly doubled, adding a whopping 1.7 million square kilometers. That's like 3 times the size of metropolitan France. President Alberto Fernandez signed off on this expansion law in August, and now Argentina's stretch out over South America and Antarctica, all the way from the Tropic of Capricorn to the chilly South Pole. Now here's the cool part. This expanded playground isn't just for show. Argentina now owns some of the hottest fishing spots on the planet, and might even be sitting on a gold mine of oil and gas. And guess what? The Falkland Islands, known as the Malvinas in Argentina, are now part of this enlarged domain despite 99.8% of the Falkland Islanders voted to remain British. Alright, so here's the deal. Back in 2016, the UN's Commission of the Limits on the Continental Shelf, CLCS, laid down the law, using the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea as their guide. What they did was pinpoint the outer edge of this massive shelf that sticks out from Argentina's coastline. Now, where the seabed is not too deep, less than 2,500 meters deep, considered like an extension of Argentina's mainland, the impact of this ruling is pretty cool for Argentina. It means their territorial waters now stretch way beyond the usual 200 nautical miles. That's about 370 kilometers, by the way. In 2016, when Mauricio Macri was Argentina's president, he, being a conservative, cheered a particular ruling as a diplomatic victory. Oddly enough, though, he didn't translate that celebration into law. His main agenda at the time was all about building friendly ties worldwide, and that included keeping things cordial with Britain. To grasp the significance, rewind to 1982. Britain and Argentina clashed in a war where Britain fought to kick out Argentina's armed forces that had invaded the Falklands that year. It's like this historical echo in the background that adds another layer to the whole situation. So, Alberto Fernandez, our left-leaning Peronist president, has been quite bold lately. Back in August, he went ahead and signed this law and updated the country's borders on a map, claiming a much larger area than what the Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf had said Argentina was entitled to. When he sent this whole territorial expansion thing to Congress earlier this year, Mr. Alberto made it clear that he's standing firm on Argentina's claim to the Falklands. This claim has deep roots in Argentine law and enjoys overwhelming support from the Argentine people. So, there's this official map in Argentina that's making some waves. They've tossed in South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands, which, by the way, are British territories. They're also adding areas that weren't even claimed before. According to the Argentinian government, Britain is pretty much after the water's treasures in those regions. It's like they've got their eyes on some underwater treasure, or at least that's what Daniel Filmus, the government secretary for the Malvinas, Antarctica, and the South Atlantic, is saying. He's calling it the, quote, stubbornness of British colonialism. The map is boldly declaring Argentina's ownership of the Antarctic Peninsula, that pointy ice cream cone jutting into the Weddell Sea. But here's a twist. Chile and Britain are also waving their flags over that chilly piece of real estate. The UN Commission, in a classic diplomatic fashion, decided not to pick sides in this whole land and sea drama. They're staying neutral in a land of maritime dispute, as they put it. It's worth noting that the areas granted to Argentina on the map are just a fraction of the country's overall claim. Argentina isn't planning to launch a military campaign to take back the Falklands, but they are claiming to use the Commission's ruling to push Britain into negotiations. An advisor to the president insists. The UN is saying that the Malvinas is a matter of dispute, challenging Britain's stance that there's no issue over the islands. Argentina's foreign ministry even dropped a video calling for dialogue under UN guidance, but it's doubtful that Britain will agree to such discussions. On February 22, 2023, President President Alberto made his way to the Morambo Scientific Base in Antarctica, becoming the fourth Argentine president to step onto the claimed polar territory. This move carries extra weight in an election year, putting a spotlight on Argentina's desire for sovereignty over the Antarctic region. President Alberto delivered a national broadcast from Antarctica, emphasizing the significance of science for sovereignty and announcing plans for new labs. Acknowledging Antarctic Sovereignty Day, Mr. Alberto highlighted Argentina's uninterrupted presence in Antarctica for 119 years. He pledged to maintain and expand the Antarctic research infrastructure. Notably, he revealed plans for a sustainable station at Base Petrel and announced the opening of a National Library branch and an Antarctic correspondent post. It's not just a symbolic gesture. Argentina is doubling its commitment to Antarctic research and collaboration. There are plans in the works for new labs and a shared research center, showcasing the country's dedication to scientific endeavors in the icy expanse. Despite playing by the rules outlined in the Antarctic Treaty, Argentina isn't backing down from its territorial claims that stretch from the Antarctic Peninsula to the South Pole. The country administers 13 bases in the region, emphasizing its commitment to environmental preservation and asserting sovereign rights over its claimed territory. Well, as the Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, nears its end in 2048, there's growing concern about potential fallout. With territorial disputes looming and the tempting prospect of untapped resources, the delicate balance between scientific collaboration and national claims is at risk. This comes at a time when global warming is melting Antarctic ice, making the region more accessible. Well, it looks like Mr. Alberto might have a big win. Argentine oceanographers are suddenly the hot topic for other countries, with other countries like Brazil, Germany, Denmark, and even Chile reaching out for their expertise. Dispute or no dispute, the combination of geopolitics and environmental impact underscores a need for careful international cooperation in shaping Antarctica's future. And schoolkids in Argentina will now learn that Tierra del Fuego, the southernmost province, is actually the country's center. It's like a geography makeover. Plus, the population of emperor penguins and leopard seals is booming. In these tough times, that's something that might bring a little cheer to the folks in Argentina. Cheers to the penguins, I guess.